Broken Dolly TV. My name is Gypsy. I'm your host today, and we are going to do an unboxing video of my Power Pair um, signature Power Pair dolls, which I believe that they are designed by Carlisle Nuera, who's one of my favoriteest Barbie doll designers at Mattel. So here's what they're looking like. And why does it seem like, hold on guys, hold on, we gotta, technical difficulties when you're going live. That's better. Okay, thought I was bugging. Anyways, this is what they look like, and we're gonna take them out of the box. Finally, I've had these dolls for like, I want to say I've had them for 3 months now. 3 months, at least 2 months for sure, but it could be 3. And the reason why they're still in the box, because y'all know I don't be keeping my dolls in the box. The reason why they're still in the box is because I didn't want to unbox them until I had lost a specific amount of weight and basically treat myself to unboxing them. Because as soon as I take them out, I knew I was going to want to rebody them and, totally switch them up from how they came. So I was just like, you know what, be motivated to work out and stick to my routine if I have something to reward myself with on the other end of it. So I purchased the dolls with that in mind. And hi Gabby, Pili Garcia, and Minnie G, thank you. So that's what I did, and that's why it took me 2 months to take them out of the box, because it took me that long to get to my goal weight. So of course this is not my, like, I'm not done. This isn't like, yay, I'm down to the size that I want and now it's done, it's over. No, this is just a threshold in my overall goal that I'm trying to reach. But these dolls cost like, oh, man, they cost like, with tax, shipping, everything included, all together, I think I spent $360 or $380, something like that, in that range for these dolls. They were really pricey. So, but they were on my grail list. This is the only reason why I spent that kind of money on these darn dolls. They're convention dolls, so you can't just like buy them on a website that just happens to have these on them. You can only get them if you either attended the convention or, like I did, off of a third party who did that, and then they're reselling the dolls. So that's why the price was so high. But I don't recommend that you guys who are starting off collecting, or even seasoned collectors, I mean, most of you guys know this, but if you're starting off, don't be spending $300-400 on dolls if it's not something you're in love with. Okay, please don't. You're gonna go broke. Don't do that. But yeah, so I wanted to kind of like work for it, I guess. So let's turn the camera around so you guys can see what I'm seeing. Ooh, Lord, hello, hi, how you doing? How you doing, girl? Y'all, I'm so obsessed with these dolls, like, you don't understand. You don't understand. Like, I don't know. These dolls have been, and I see other people posting on Instagram and YouTube as well, so I know it's not just me, but just what is it about these freaking dolls? The Simone dolls, I'm talking about the Simone head sculpt from the Barbie Looks line, and their chocolatey complexion. What is it about this combination with these dolls that are so addictive? Like, I never get tired of looking at them, and they're just next level. Like, Bill Greening, good job. Good job, good job, good job. What, your team, good job. Whoever over at Mattel that contributed to this wave and this line in general, and specifically this sculpt and this styling of the sculpt, like, y'all did a very, very good job. So many very happy customers who are like, their collections are just coming to life off of these dolls. You feel me? I want to show you guys this doll. I haven't named her yet, though. I'm like teeter-tottering between names. Who's being added to my little sub collection of red-haired dolls. And she was this is a old school diva sculpt. Okay, I say it's an old school sculpt because if you put her up against a newer diva head sculpt doll, the sculpt is a little different. Like, this one is a little more defined in the features compared to a newer one, and I do have a newer one who's part of the BMR line. Y'all excuse any like background noises because I'm outside in front of my house. But anyway, so they look pretty much the I'm sorry, they look pretty much the same, but this doll just has a little bit more definition in her features. So her face is super squishy. That's something else that I noticed too. The older dolls have really squishy heads, and you can just pop them on and off the dolls' heads, bodies really easily. But the newer dolls, it's still squishy, but it's a little more firm, which is why I think a lot of us have to like heat the heads first, or dry. What do they use? What do you call that stuff? Sorry, my English is slipping my. This is what happens when you're like multilingual. Your brain won't calculate the words you're trying to use fast enough sometimes because you're like thinking in another language. Anyway, blow dryer is what I'm trying to say. They sometimes we blow dry the heads to heat them up so we can take them off easier. So I think that's why, because the vinyl is a little bit different from the older, like the 90s heads versus what we have now. Lord, I'm so hot. Anyway, yeah, so that's what's going on with this doll. But basically, she was a thrift store doll. She didn't come like this. She had like crazy hair, and her body was just garbage. And yeah, she just didn't appeal to me as far as like the way I found her at the thrift store. But I gave her a boil wash for her hair, so it's really sleek and straight now. Thankfully, she has that good saran type of hair, but so it doesn't really tangle, and it's very easy to manage now that it's been straightened out, I guess. Did I use a straightening iron on her head? No, I didn't use a straightening iron on her head. I just used water. So that's all I needed. And then I put her onto a articulated body that I had kind of not laying around, but I stole it from another doll that didn't need this body. And then now she's got joints and she's redressed and chilling and modernized, I guess. I haven't decided if I want to alter her in any other ways yet, but I'll probably give her some earrings. I don't know if I want to repaint anything on her face. I like the freckles. I like the hair. I might just leave her alone. And I was trying to figure out if I wanted to like spruce her up and maybe sell her, but I'm in love with her. This is a problem, you guys. Like, sometimes I'll make a doll with the intention to sell the doll. Then after I'm done and I look at how it turned out, like once the makeover is over, I'll be like, man, I don't know if I want to sell you. So I'll just keep the doll. And then I'll just tell myself, well, when I get around to it, I'll sell. But I never get around to it because, like, low-key, deep down in my heart, I really love the doll. So I just want to keep it. Yeah, so that sucks. But whatever. I'm going to figure it out. One of these days, I'm going to figure it out. Okay? Anyway, and then this is my, Lord. Her hair needs to be tamed too. But anyway, I redressed this Barbie Looks doll. She's the one with the Frida Sculpt. And she came in the same release with those dolls back there. And I don't know what it is though. I feel like there's something about this doll that like just a little bit is off, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is about her that's bothering me, but something doesn't feel quite right. Like it's something about her that isn't quite Broken Dolly-esque. And I don't know what it is, y'all. I don't know what it is. If anybody has a suggestion as to what it could be, then let me know. Because I remember I said the same thing about the Barbie Looks male Ken doll, the black Ken with the braided hair. It was something about his face that was like off, and it was this blank stare that he had. And I figured out, at least for me, it was the way that they drew the lines in his eyeballs. It was something was off. There was like an extra dot in there that was making it look weird. And then when I erased it, then he was fine. And I was like, whoa, like it was just that one little thing. I don't know what it was. It could just be my Asperger's just making me like pay attention to something that no one else is even paying any attention to, and it's just bothering me in the back of my head. I really don't know what it is. Gabby, what do you think it is about her eyes that I'm not able to quite put my finger on? But like, I think it is something in the eyes too. I just don't know what it is exactly. And I have a bunch of these dolls, so I kind of did a face comparison between all of them to see maybe it's just the way her face up is. Maybe it's not the version of the face up that my eyes like looking at. Maybe that's what it is. Because like if you look at my twins back here, they're the same doll, but to me they look very different in the face. And I can immediately tell the difference between both dolls when I look at them. without hesitation. Like, I don't have to study the face before I can tell the difference. So I thought, well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just her face up is a slightly, something about it is slightly off. I need to look at the other ones in the box and see if I want to pull one of them out instead. But I couldn't figure out what it was. The iris should probably be darker. The iris should be darker. Let's see. They look dark to me. The iris looks black. What is going on with this? I don't know what it is. Does anybody else know what I'm talking about? Like this weird feeling that I'm having when I look at this doll where something is just off. You know what I'm saying? She'd be eaten for days if she had neutral makeup. Maybe it's the makeup. Maybe you're right. Can B said that. Maybe it's the makeup. You know what? Maybe it's the makeup. Maybe my eyes just don't like the way that her makeup is done. That could be it. That could be it. You know what? I'm going to experiment and try to change the makeup a little on her eyes. But it's so weird because I was like, is it the colors? I love the combination of purple and green. That's like always been one of my favorite combinations of colors together. And I was so excited when I saw the color combination. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. But maybe it's just not right on her skin tone. I don't know what it is. It's just something is off. So I'm going to have to play around with this doll because I know when I look at her, she's not the way I want her to be. But she's beautiful. I love this head sculpt too. I like the way that the sculpt looks. It's very realistic. And I think they did do an overall very good job on this doll. I like redressing her and changing her into different outfits and see how she looks. Love her curvy body type. I think it's beautiful. But then again, maybe she's too short. I don't know. Like, I just don't know what it is. Her bottom lip, let me see. The Ernie Sal said it's maybe her bottom lip. What is it about the lip? Hi!
Oh, you're in the middle of filming. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just doing a stream on my channel, on my YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh.
What are you doing?
Are you in the middle of it?
Yeah, but we're good over here. What are you doing? Where are you going?
My cable box.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. I thought it was going to be sunny today, but it's kind of like, I don't know. Is it going to rain? I hope not. But the weather's nice. Sorry, guys. I'm talking to my neighbor upstairs. She's nice. She's nice to me. She's my friend. Anyway, okay, so yeah, so I don't know what it is exactly. Oh, she's expressionless. Popsy Turvy, you know what? I think you got it. I think you got it. I think you got it. Yeah, I think you got it. Yeah, she does seem like she doesn't have no thoughts in her mind. Like, what are you thinking about? I don't know. I can't tell. She does look like she's very robotic. That's what it is. How do I bring this girl to life? I gotta figure that out. But there's a way. There's a way. There's a way. I'm telling you guys, just one little tweak to the face sometimes makes a huge difference in how the doll will end up looking overall. For real. But, you know, these, the twin girls here, they're my twins. I freaking love them. I never get tired of looking at them. And they're like fun to play around with. They're really fun to change their outfits up, their looks. And at first I was dressing them in very similar looking clothes, like the same outfit, you know, because I really wanted to showcase how different their faces look. To me, they look very different. But I put them into this outfit that they're like rompers. The rompers are the exact same cut, but they're different material, like the different fabrics that they use to do it. So I thought it was so cute to have them like in matching outfits, and I like dressing them like this. I try to do the same thing, try to do like the matching outfits thing for my other set of twins, Reagan and Sierra. But the problem with that, to me, when I look at them dressed alike, it don't make sense because their personalities are polar opposites. They can't stand each other. But freaking Sierra, her catchphrase is freaking, I fucking hate you, or whatever she'd be saying. She'd be always like yelling at her sister and saying, that's why I can't stand you. Like, she's always yelling at her. So in real life, if they were real life girls, they would not be dressing the same way. You know what I'm saying? Their personalities are so different. So when I try to dress them the same, it just looks like they're like, it's like a photo shoot thing or like a costume thing. Like, it doesn't seem like it's genuine. Like, their personalities, they would really be dressed in the same outfits. to match each other. But with these two, because I'm basing their personalities on me and my sister, we were very close growing up. People thought we were twins because I guess we were so similar looking that people couldn't tell the difference between the two of us. So they would just assume we were twins, but we ain't. I'm a year older than my sister. So but my parents used to dress us alike all the time. We used to have the same outfits on all the time, which probably added to people thinking we were twins. And when we got older, we would also like match each other. So me and her would do that in real life. We would actually walk around in the same exact outfit if we could get away with it and totally not even care. So based on that, them being very close to each other and liking each other, it would make sense that they would be dressed similarly and try to match. So that's why for this pair of dolls, I think it's more fitting for me to dress them alike, which is really fun. And it's like I don't always do a twinning thing with a lot of my dolls. I dress them sometimes in the same color schemes, but not exactly the same outfits and things like that. So that's what I've been experimenting with these dolls, and it's like a new way of trying to dress and bring fashion to your doll collection. So it's fun doing that. Let's see. Let me just read some of your comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Minnie G said maybe a slight eyebrow change is needed. That sounds reasonable. Definitely 1,000-yard stare. Jay Martinez said these two specific rompers were always some of my favorite fashion pack items. Oh yeah, I love these rompers. I love the rompers in general, but certain rompers I like better than other ones. I don't like the ones where you have to like tie them behind the neck. Those are freaking annoying. I don't like those kind of rompers because it's too much stuff I gotta do. I just want to like, can we keep it moving, right? Try to get the doll dressed and put her up on the shelf and look at her, take pictures. That's what I'm trying to do. Let's see. The Ernie Sal said, do you ever cut their hair? I do cut my dolls' hairs. I didn't cut their hair specifically. None of the dolls that are here on this table I've cut their hair, but I do have dolls whose hair I have cutted. What the freak is going on? You guys, what the heck? Why am I not speaking good English today? Like, what is happening? What the freak? I just laughed at myself because I said one word wrong in the sentence. Then as I was doing the next sentence, I got another word wrong. What is happening? Oh my gosh. Maybe I'm not fully awake. I didn't go to sleep until like 5 a.m. So, I don't know. Anyways, back to the story. I do cut their hair though, and it just depends on the doll and what look is appropriate for that doll. Some dolls look better with shorter hair, and some dolls have the hair that's way too long, like it's just long for no reason. This one here, she's one that has super long hair, and I like it this way. But I mean, if I did cut it, I wouldn't be like, I don't think it would look bad if I did cut it, because even with like shoulder length hair, she wouldn't look bad, or even mid back. But this is the type of doll that would be a candidate for me to chop her hair off later if I wanted to do that. But I like it long, so I'm just going to leave her alone for now. But yeah, there have been times when I've actually cut dolls' hair. So I'm not afraid to cut some hair off. It just depends on the doll. But my preference, even just in real life, is long hair. I like long hair better than short hair. So I try to kind of like dress my dolls in ways that I like to see people looking, I guess, and style them in similar ways to how I like for people to be looking. And that's all. But I have a various hairstyle. There's a lot of different kind of hairstyles going on in my doll collection. This is a pet peeve. This, I'm sorry, is a pet peeve. I can't stand it. I can't stand it when I'm like looking at a doll and her hair is unkempt. It just irks me so bad. I can't stand it. Ugh, it's like when I see like the teeth on the doll and I have to get rid of them. I can't look at a doll that's got just too much teeth showing. It's the same thing with hair for me. Like, no, your hair needs to be neat. You know what my father used to always tell me when we were growing up? My dad, he only lived till I was about 8 or 9 years old. But a lot of lessons I learned from my father. And he always told me, even if you're not able to afford name brand clothes and you can't buy all this like fancy jewelry, don't worry about that. Dress in clothes that are clean, that fit your body type, and always, no matter what you do, always make sure your hair looks neat when you are in public. If your hair is a hot mess, people will think you are crazy and they will not respect you. People will think you don't care about yourself. They will not respect you. And I'm so glad my dad taught me that when I was little, because Now I know I have Asperger's syndrome, but back then we didn't know that. And a lot of times, people who have Asperger's and autism, the last thing on our mind is like tedious stuff that everyone else is worried about, but it's just don't care because we're trying to like just let's just get to the point of the thing we're trying to do. And so a lot of times, grooming ourselves is not on the top of our list of things to do as a priority. So you just don't because you're like, why? It's a waste of my time. I'm trying to figure this thing out that I'm trying to do, right? So, and that's part of why a lot of times people who run into people that have Asperger's and autism will throw them off. It'll be like very like unnerving for people to be around us because when they see the way that we're groomed and everything looks out of place, your clothes aren't tucked in right, you know, it throws you off because you're like, that's not normal. Why are you walking around like that? Even though the person might be brilliant, might be hilarious, might be just really, really good at something, you can't really take them that serious off the rip because just their social etiquette is off. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that I learned that at a young age. And my dad drilled that into us when we were young because I live by that to this day. And I do the same thing with my own kids. And my son has Asperger's syndrome. And he's another one where, like, if I don't remind him to get himself together, he just wouldn't for years. Now he's about to be 17, and we've trained him since a very young age to make sure that he grooms himself. So even like when he's walking around in the house, he always makes sure his hair looks neat. He always makes sure he's got on a nice outfit. And now my son is actually like a fashion designer kind of because he makes his own clothes. So all of those lessons are coming together because not only is he making the clothes, but he can put them together in a way that is fashionable. And even though it's weird because the kind of stuff that he makes, that he wears, is not traditional clothes, it just works because he knows how to put it together in a way that looks very neat and fashionable. You know what I mean? So like it's important for people to present themselves in a certain way when they're dealing with other people. When you're just at home, like who cares? But you know, your family knows you. They know they're not judging you. But when you're dealing with other people, nah. If you're trying to get other people to take you serious, this is just certain level of social etiquette you have to keep up with. It's difficult for some of us, but we just have to learn those things, you know? So when I look at dolls and I see the doll's hair just flying all over the place and it just looks crazy, like it just reminds me of I can't take that collection too serious. It reminds me too much of like a kindergarten kid, her dolls and they're just all over the place. It's wild, you know what I'm saying? So when I see that, it just bugs me so much. I'm like, no, I'm gonna do something about this. Ooh, I like this cute little hat. That's cute. Let me see. Let me look at your comments real quick. They're giving Shining Twins vibe. I love it. My twin sister and I do almost everything together. Gabby, you're a twin. That's what's up. Are you an identical twin or fraternal? Minnie G, she kind of has a news reporter type face, kind of neutral but slightly forced. Ooh, I like that perspective. That makes sense. She does that. Yeah, like I was feeling the same way. Like the makeup throws it off too because what news reporter do you know who's just walking around with like tons of makeup on her face? Like no, right? Let's see. We talk about dolls basically 24. Oh, your sister likes dolls too? Wouldn't that be a dream? If only my sister likes dolls. My sister's such a tomboy. That's why I said I was going to make their personalities like me and my sister. I liked all the girly stuff, and my sister liked all the tomboy stuff, where she's like very physical. She likes to run and jump and do cartwheels and roller skate, ride bikes. Like my sister could ski. She could ice skate. What? And she's like the chunkier one. Like I was the skinny scrawny one and my sister was the chubby one, so everyone thought I was more agile than she was, but I was so clumsy and would always be like falling down for no reason, right? I just fall down a flight of stairs. I was so uncoordinated. And my sister's the total opposite. She could dance. Like she can do anything with her body that she wants to do. Such great control over her motor skills. But I mean, like music, we both sang, we both played instruments, we're both multilingual, we were really smart, like we always got straight A's, and drama, theater, acting, all the performing arts stuff me and my sister totally have in common. I was a poet. She she didn't write poetry, but she recited poetry. So like whenever I would do a piece that she really loved, because my sister was probably like my biggest fan when it came to my poetry, she would like beg me to let her perform them. So when we would do like poetry readings at different places in my neighborhood, where it was very spoken word friendly, the neighborhood that me and my sister went to school in. So we had always a lot of events that had to do with poetry, and my sister would come with me to those events and she would perform my poems live on the stage. So that kind of stuff we've always had in common. But as far as our specific special interests, yeah, I don't know about that. My sister's a big fashion person. She's also like a cosmetologist. So she was always into hair and clothes, and I never was. I could care less about that stuff. But she definitely influenced me as far as hair and clothes, because she taught me little tricks and ways to like put together outfits in a way that it looked fashionable, even though we were poor and we couldn't afford all this like name brand stuff. So you know, she was good at stuff like that. But me, I'm more into like, you know, playing with dolls and drawing and singing and just like taking naps. That's like the most physical activity I wanted to do. If I had to sweat, I would be like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. Jay said I bought a metal doll brush from Target doll brand Generation Girl, $6. It was a game changer and it came with a spray bottle. I love them. I heard the metal brushes are better than plastic for the dolls. And keep your head up high. Identical, I don't see it though. Okay, Gabby said that you are identical, but you don't see it. What do you mean you don't see it? What is this name? Is it Nahima or Nahima? I'm not sure. Rainbow Barbie. So this is, let's take these dolls. Oh, you know what? Where's my scissors? Ugh, you know I forgot something. I always forget something. Yeah, okay, so let's get this show on the road. I mean, I had other stuff I wanted to talk to you guys about too. What is all this dust on your face, sir? This is what happens when you don't take your doll out for 2 months. Oh, Lord. Okay, we're going to take these dolls out. Let's see if we can do it without scissors. The box is like this. It says Power Pair Barbie and Ken dolls. Roll out the pink carpet for everyone's favorite Power Pair, Barbie and Ken. Each has a unique brand of style and influence and is worthy of attaining global icon status. Dressed in bold power suits, their convention celebration look is pure fire. Who comes up with these little blurbs they put on the back of the boxes, y'all? They have like a team of people that just do that. They just come up with like stuff that's gonna go on the back of the box. I wonder. Or do the designers get to come up with that? Oh, I don't see a bunch of, you know what? This is another thing. These are convention dolls, so I'm not surprised that there isn't a bunch of little plastic, you know, those annoying tabs that you have to rip out of the dolls. I hate those. So maybe we don't need scissors after all, but I'm bad with box opening, so I'm just gonna do this part off camera for a second, and you guys can, ooh, Lord. Girl, where you going? Where you going? Stay put. Thank you. I named this one right here. I named her Anais. And then this one, her sister, is eBay. But it's not spelled like the store eBay. It's spelled I-B-E-I. But it is basically eBay. It's the same damn thing. But I named her eBay just because I thought it was hilarious. I just thought it was a funny name for a doll. Just for laughs. That's why I named her eBay. Nothing special about that name. And I want them to be from Sudan, like for their ethnicity. So I thought eBay, the way that I spelled it, I-B-E-I, looked like something that could be believable as like an African name. And so that's why I gave her that name. But there really is no significance behind it, guys. It was literally just me trying to be funny. And like if I had named my doll Etsy, like it is actually supposed to be Etsy, like the website, but I just spelled it with an IE instead, kind of a thing. That's what that was. There's no significance there. And I think I just named her eBay because I was like, I stalk eBay a lot looking for dolls, so I don't really buy that much off of eBay except for dolls. You know, I don't use eBay to shop for like other things other than dolls. So I thought that would be funny to name my doll eBay. And that doll, I didn't buy her from eBay, of course. I bought her off of the Mattel website. But I just thought it was funny. Okay, I got the girl out of the box. And thank God there's no annoying weird tabs. I just gotta slide them out of these little rubbery things that they've got going on here. This doll reminds me so much of my mother. I mean, not my mother, my mom's sister. One of her sisters, one of my aunts that live out here. She's my, let me think. My mom, then my mom has a brother. Then after the brother, she's got 4 sisters. So her third youngest sister, basically, of the 4. No, I'm wrong. I'm bad. Her second youngest sister. That's what she reminds. My 2 oldest aunts live here in this neighborhood where I live. So thankfully I get to see them every so often. And I've spent so many years not being around my Korean side of the family that it's surreal having them literally down the street from me. It's really like, I don't even know how to describe the feeling of having them here. And the last time I was like living around them was when we lived in Korea when I was a child at like in 2nd grade. So, you know, it's just a different kind of connection having my people here and like having exposure to our culture so that my children can have that in their lives. Where the hell happened to their doll stands? Did I take their stands out? Oh my god, you guys, I'm horrible. I'm so impatient that I think somewhere along the line while I was trying to get my weight thing under control, I took the dolls, the stands out of the freaking box because I was like so impatient. I wanted to take something out of the box, so I just took the stands out. So I'm gonna have to steal some stands from these other dolls so these guys can have a way to actually stand up. And they have shoes that come separate in the box like this. So we're gonna put the shoes on them so we can see the whole outfit that they come in. So let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. How you do this? Oh, watch me drop something. Let me see. Oh, her toes are painted. What a shame. I'm gonna have to rebody you, and then your new body won't have painted toenails. But that's okay, because I can just paint them myself. I have some white paint I can use. Oh, maybe I'll give her yellow nails instead. I gotta get some yellow paint though, because I ain't got none. And then she also has, no, this guy. Let me see. Take out these shoes. Honestly, I don't think that these shoes are that great. There's not really anything about these shoes that stand out. I wish the shoes had been a different color, to be honest. I think it would have been interesting if it was like a pink pair of shoes to go with his pink outfit, or a blue color like this. That would be kind of cool. Maybe I'll paint the shoes. But I'm going to take him out of all the stuff that he came in anyway, so I guess I don't really have to worry about it. But I'm just saying, if I was somebody who was going to display him with the clothes that he came in, I would have liked for the shoes to be a slightly different color than just white, because it's just so plain. Alright, now let me take all of this stuff out. Ooh, come on. Ah, sticking to me. I'm so frustrated. Okay, so he has glasses, these little sunglasses. You handsome. And then she also has glasses. Let's see what the glasses look like. Come here. This doll reminds me of someone I feel like I've seen in real life or know in real life, but I'm not really sure exactly who. It'll come to me. She just reminds me a lot of somebody that I feel like I know. I don't know who. And then who's got a stand I can steal for my boy? Let me see. She's a little wide. Maybe hers will work. Alright, you stay here. And then you can use this stand, perhaps. Let's see if it fits you. Or if it's not wide enough. Oh, no, it's not wide enough. That's okay. We'll do it the hack way. How about that? Oh, you know you could do that. Alright, so now, let's see. And guys, his hair's flocked. I'm just seeing dust in his hair that's like irking me. Alright, we'll figure that out. Anyway. Alright, Mr. Helicopter, relax. Relax. Okay, so here's how they're looking out of the box. The little power pair couple. And she is on well, both of them have like a Model Muse style kind of body. So They're very stiff. Do you collect any gem and hologram dolls? I don't have any, but I've seen pictures of them. I do like them. I don't know that much about gem and the holograms just in general, so it's not something that would be like on my radar to look for. But I've come across them over the years when I'm researching and doing some doll studying. Steven the Jupiterian. Hi, cute dolls. That's what he said. Thank you. So this is how they're looking out of the box, and the outfits, they're very, I don't know what this material is. They look very satiny and smooth, but when you touch them, they're not necessarily that kind of feeling. It feels like this material, whatever this is. It's the same kind of material that they use for their outfits. Very plain, no writing or logos on the clothes, which is fine by me, and that's my preference, because when I go to redress the outfits onto other dolls with mix matching with other things in my dolly wardrobe, it will be easy to find stuff to match for the clothes. My concern though is that look at how tiny her waist looks. She has a Model Muse body, so the clothes are gonna be like real, like a different kind of dimensions on the body, just because that's just how it is with those kind of body types. So I don't know who would be able to share these pants if they have no stretch factor in the waistline, which I doubt that they do. I saw when I turned them around that she had Velcro in the back, so I don't know how that's gonna work. Like, it's not like I can just redress this outfit onto the next doll and that's the end of that, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much use I'm gonna get out of the pants, but I hope I have a doll somewhere in my collection that I'm just not thinking of with like a funny body where she's real skinny maybe and I can fit that on her. That would be good. Mister, what is going on with your face? This is another thing about these kind of like convention type dolls. You can't really do anything about it if they have like flaws, because that's it. They're so limited edition. You can't just necessarily go and get a refund and get a different doll to replace it with, and then there's a guarantee that the next set of dolls you replace it with will be better. It could be worse, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of have to just work with them the way that they are. Like, for example, with her, if you look real closely, her face, there's a flaw in her lip makeup right on the side there. It's chipping. There's a little chip there in her lip on the bottom, you know, and things like that. If it's just paint, I can fix it, so I don't really worry about it. And sometimes, depending on what it is that's a flaw in the doll's face, it could actually work to make them look more personalized, because it could stand in as a mole, a beauty mark, a scar, and it's okay. So it just really depends on what's going on with your doll. But if it's like a dent in the vinyl or something, or like something won't come out, you know, it could be really bothersome. So just keep that in mind. That's why I said don't go spending $400 on some doll that you see online because everybody says you should buy it, because they're just fawning over it. If it's not something you really, really want, and you're like, if I don't have this, I'm gonna regret it, you know? That's how I feel about that. Just because you can't really do anything about it if there's something about the doll that is a mistake or you don't like. Anyway, this is the best I can do right now to kind of dust his face off. But yeah, so this guy, I believe he's got the same head sculpt as the Texas A&M Ken, and but I think his head size is a slightly larger, like a little bit bigger. Don't quote me on that. I don't know 100% for sure, because I haven't really been paying attention to it, but I think he does. And I do have the Texas A&M Ken dolls in my collection, but I don't know. I haven't really like compared them to each other to see, because they're kind of stashed away. I don't have them out on display. Yeah, and then the skin tone for him is the same skin tone as the Barbie Looks doll, who has this body, this skin tone body. Same thing. This one has joints. His body is not going to have any joints, so this is why I'm going to end up swapping his head, and I'll show you guys how he looks when we're done looking at them. And then for her, again, this doll is so hard to match to a body donor. I still don't know for sure if this one is it, but it's close. This is the original body. It's close. And this is the wheelchair doll with the skipper head sculpt with the long crimply hair. So I think that the color is very, very similar. This one just seems to me like a little deeper, like a little, not darker, but I don't know how to explain it, y'all. I'm just bad at explaining colors. It's the same hue, it's the same color, but she's just a slight shade darker, if that makes sense. So to me, this body looks slightly darker, but it's the same color as her, so she can get away with it. That's the closest match that I found so far to that doll. So we're gonna give them new bodies, and I like looking at them, but like I want to see how they look with some joints. So I'm gonna pop their heads off and let's do that whole thing. Let me see what kind of I'm working with here for the clothes. Oh, and her hair is like rooted twists all the way through. That's how it looks. It's not overly rooted where it's too much hair, but it's also not so sparsely rooted that you're gonna see a bunch of bald spots when you're moving the hair around. So that's what's up. And she's got a little bit of like a little ponytail up here on the side to kind of make it kind of side swept looking, and tons of baby hair, tons and tons of baby hair drawn on. I mean, this is like lace front wig status baby hair right here. They went in with the baby hair. I do love her shoes. I love the way that the shoes look on her feet. I love her feet. I like how these bodies have a left and a right foot, where there's like a distinct change in the mold of the feet. See how it's like one, they don't look the same each side. So I love that about these Model Muse bodies. I wish I could like transfer the feet onto a regular body so she could have joints, but no. And this face sculpt is called Marissa, Model of the Moment Marissa, closed mouth version, because there's two versions, one with their teeth showing. And I do not have any dolls in my collection with this face sculpt. Another doll that has a sculpt, if you want some kind of a reference, is the dolls that they had that was like a what was the name of that? Iris Apfel, I think. Yeah, there's a line of dolls that were styled by her, and she one of those dolls has this sculpt as well. So, and that version is like a Caucasian version, but I've never seen a black version of this sculpt until now. I've seen like a Hispanic looking version, which was on my grail list. That's why I said these are one of my grail dolls, because this sculpt was on my list of grail sculpts. I don't have necessarily a grail doll list, like I need to have this specific doll. I have two lists. I have one list is like the specific doll I want, like the Johnny Depp doll or the Japan Ken, but I also have a list of sculpts that I want. So it doesn't have to necessarily be one specific version of it. Like the Cher doll, for example, I love the sculpt of the Cher doll, but the specific version that I want for that is the one that's in the Native American clothes. Oh, not for her clothes. I only want it for the skin tone, because I love the brown deep skin tone of that one, and I think it's the best version of those dolls. So any Cher doll I would love to have in my collection, honestly, but that specific one is my preference. But some dolls like Poppy Parker, I just love the sculpt, so I don't care if it's this skin tone or that skin tone or this version or that version. I just want one, and that's basically how I decide what kind of dolls end up on my grail list. So that's just how I do it. Yeah, so the Marissa sculpt was on my grail list, absolutely. And then this Ken was on my grail list. I just like him in general. He's really cool looking. Look at his eyes, you guys. His eyes look so like, look, let me show you. See how he's got like this like almond shape to his eyes, and he's got the upward turned sides here on the edges. To me, I feel like he reminds me of my son has a kid in his school who's Ethiopian and a quarter Japanese, and he's got deep dark brown skin tone like this, real curly hair, but his eyes are like Asian people eyes, you know. And it's just crazy, like the combination of features he has, and he's beautiful. And he's like an athlete at my son's school, and he's friends with him, and my son himself is a quarter Korean, so they like talk about their heritage and their cultures together, and different ways that they incorporate different, you know, parts of their cultures into their lifestyle. So that's what he kind of reminds me of, like I could believe that he was like a quarter Chinese, right? So I thought that was a cute little feature that I think people who see these eyes would kind of be thrown off and think like, well, it looks feminine because he's got eyelashes and it looks like he's got makeup with like the cat eyes. You could view it like that, but to me, he just looked like a guy with Asian looking eyes, basically, but he just has brown skin. You know what I'm saying? And if you guys look at different cultures in Africa too, just naturally, there's a lot of African uh groups of people who naturally have features like this. They have really, really dark skin, but like their faces look almost like an Asian person's face. It's the weirdest thing. But you know why I think that is? Did you know that back in the day, before Columbus sailed anywhere, before Europeans left wherever they were at, Africans were building ships and leaving Africa and coming here to America and other places in Australia. They were traveling to other worlds and doing a trade with people from those worlds. And in Asian culture, we're taught that the Native Americans, the first Native Americans, I guess, actually originated from Asia. So they like migrated to the Americas when the Bering Strait still existed, and they migrated and went and explored the world to see what was out there, and then they settled here. And I think a lot of the Africans that came over and ran into those, I guess, the first early day Native Americans, um, who weren't really native to this country, they came from somewhere else, you know. I think they would run into them, and they basically started relationships with them and mated with them. And then some of those Africans went back to Africa. So if they had children, if they had spouses, they would have traveled back there with them. This is ancient times we're talking about. So you're not going to see all of this stuff like documented someplace, but it would make sense why some of those people have those kinds of features. And then just over the years, as they continue to mate with their own people and their own tribes, some of those features got watered down. So you still have the dark skin, you still have the curly hair, but maybe you might see somebody with more squinty looking eyes or smaller lips than what you would normally see over in Africa. And the same over in Asia. You see Asian people that have like black features, but they're native to Asia. But I think that's because these Africans were traveling all over the place, and they have their influences in the different places, their different regions that they went to. Some of those people just stayed there. They just settled and mingled and mixed with the people that are there. So if you go to parts of the world like India and Vietnam, even the Philippines, in the Philippines they have a whole race of people they call the Negritos, and like and those people are mixed a little bit with black DNA. So that's kind of what I'm reminded of when I see him. Just the diversity is always what I'm going for when I'm trying to expand my collection and trying to reflect that, and how different people are, but how alike we are at the same time. It's just fascinating to me when I think about humans and how just different we are, you know, but we're also the same at the same. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I just love that, and that's what I love to explore with my doll collection. Let me take this stuff off because I want to see what's going on with the outfit. Okay, so there's no closure here. That's interesting. And let me see. Take it off. Take it off. And he's also got pierced ears, y'all, with earrings already in them. I don't know if these earrings will just come slide out. Oh, they do. They're like that. Okay, well, that's easy. Oh, I like that. Oh yeah, and the earrings are clear. Well, they're supposed to be clear, but they're not. They're so tiny, they're not really actually clear. They look white, but it's like opaque. And then the same with her earrings too. They're like a clear hoop kind of style earring. This one's hiding. Come on, don't do that. Zombies doing that. Why you doing that? Why you do that? Cooperation. And I love her side glancing eyes too. I love that. They're just very interesting. This is what we were talking about earlier about dolls with facial expressions. Anything that makes a doll just not look like she's staring off into space could be considered expressive, right? Yeah, I think his whole outfit could go on the other body just fine. I think this is okay. Because even though he's got that model muse type body with the boys, it's not so bad as far as like the dimensions of the body being off, because they still have the same dimensions as a regular Ken. It's just posed in a way that you can't change the pose. That's all. Let's see. Let's take this off. Whose kid is crying at the top of their lungs? Yeah. So this is how the body is looking. Hello. Hello. How you's doing? How you's doing? Yes. Okay, so he is cute. The name that I gave him is, I'm gonna call him Legend, and his last name is Bluestone. I don't know where I came up with that, but that's just what it is. So he's Legend. And then this one, I'm calling her Adara, after someone I know whose real name is Adara. And I was like, I'm gonna steal your name from my Dolly because it's cute. So her name is Adara, and his name is Legend. And let's see if we can give Legend a new body by removing his head. And I'm scared. I don't know. I don't want to mess him up. Not that I normally do. The boys' heads are easier to take off. They just kind of pop off, really, to be honest. I don't really struggle with the guy dolls' heads that much. See, it's already, I'm barely even trying, and it's already starting to come off. Yeah, see, it's easy with the boys. So, let's give them a new body. Let's do it. Come on, come on, come on. Get in there. Get in there. That's how he look from the back too with the head. He got a little fade going on back here. You know what I'm saying? He got a little fade going on. He got a little part in his hair right there. You know what I'm saying? A little part. You know what I mean? He think he's styling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Look at him. What? What? Oh my god! Like, you're like so fly. Like, oh my god. Got his little Jordans, his little J's. Styling. Wow, you sexy. Let me see if he can fit on this stand. Probably not. Ooh, kind of. Hey, how's you doing? Hey, he looks so different now that he's not in pink. Ain't that funny? He looks definitely different. Wow. So, I don't know. Should I do something to alter him, you guys? I don't know. Should I give him, like, new eyebrows? Is his eyebrows too much? I don't know. I don't know. I like for my boys to look masculine, whatever that means. I do like that. Sometimes I'm putting, like, facial hair on them. But then also sometimes I like the real clean cut look. It really just depends on his sculpt and, like, the vibe that he's giving me. So, I don't know yet with him if I want to change anything on him. And for her face, let me see. This is pretty squishy. Let's see. Maybe I can, oh, it's squishy. Maybe I can just pop it off. Oh, okay. Broke something. Broke something. Whoop, broke it. Okay. I guess I can't just pop it off. But I ain't worried about it because I don't really need her body for anything. I really just bought these dolls for their heads because I knew off the rip I was going to rebody them. Oh, darn it. What did I do? Now I have to go get tools because I effed it up. Here we go. Oh, my scissors were right here all this time. Ugh. Gypsy, why are you so slow? Goodness. All right, I'll just use these. Come on, get out of there. Yeah, I snapped her neck peg. So it's like stuck inside of her head. And if I wasn't lazy, I would just heat it so I can just pop it off easier. But don't nobody got time for that. Okay. Woo! Oh, Lord. Oh, goodness. That's all the muscles. See? This thing popped off completely. So, no good. That's okay, though. All right. Now, let's give her a new body. Oh, guys. You see how clumsy I am on the daily? Like, I'm barely even trying. And I just managed to find a way. This is the body here. And normally I'll just cut this thing off so that it's easy to take the head on and off. But I know once she's on here, I'm never going to remove her from this body because this is her permanent body. All right? Unless better skin tone comes out at some point that I think will be a better match or a different body type. I would love to see this doll on a curvy body, to be honest. So unless a curvy body presents itself that has this skin tone, she's going to stay on this body. Come on. Just get in there. Goodness. Ugh. This is why you heat the heads first, y'all. Don't be like me and be lazy. Alright? At least I'm not in denial about it, though. I feel it in there. Alright, it's in there. It's in there. Come on. Are you in or are you in? She got a big old head. Jesus. Why your head so big? Her head is mad big and long, like for reals. Anyway, but you know what's so funny too about this doll? Like, when I first saw the pictures of the doll, I was like, damn, they look so cartoony. Like, they didn't look to me like realistic, like how you see, like how eBay and Anais look back there. They're more like realistic looking, like a human, like kind of like how she does too, the Vera Wang doll. And I love dolls like that are painted to look more realistic, but somehow the cartoony look just works on these dolls. The way that they were presented, it just works. And they're very doll-like, but at the same time just interesting. I don't know, I just like the way that they did these dolls. So I don't mind the cartoony look. You know, look how big her eyes are. They're so exaggerated. The crazy, like, huge baby hairs, it's so exaggerated, you know, but it's fun. Like, the exaggerated look makes it look more fun. You okay?
Oh, that wasn't my tire, Ma.
Oh, stop playing. Now what? Can it be fixed?
Yeah.
Did it go flat?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. How do you fix that?
I can get some special thing from Walmart.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, well, when you go get the trash bags, then you can get it with that, okay?
Okay.
Oh my goodness, tell me how it works out. Poor Genu. He's got a brand new bike and he rode over a nail and the nail just popped his tire. Poor thing. Would you attend this high project fashion? Would you attend or have you attended Barbie conventions? I've never been to one. I would love to go to one, but I don't really know how that whole thing works. So I'm just totally clueless. Somebody would have to walk me through the whole process of like getting myself involved in the convention, but I totally would. Let's see. And I live in Washington State now, which I feel like is a little closer to places where they have conventions. Like if I was to go to one in person. Anybody with a petite body? Here on this table, I don't have a petite body out here, although I love petite bodies. I really think they're so cute. And hi, Tevin. Steven said, I went to eBay and saw a Vanna White doll. I had to have her. Oh, wait a minute. Really? I don't know about a Vanna White doll. I don't know if I've seen that before. Tevin said, after a long day of shopping. You always shopping. Tevin, why you always shopping? he always be like, so I bought this new, so I bought this, so I bought that. So listen, so I just got this. I swear to every single time I see you, every time I hear from you, where are you going with that? I thought the tire popped. You're gonna take it with you? Why? You're gonna take that into the store? Alright, do you? Whatever. Let's see. I'm gonna look that up. The Vanna White doll. I have no idea what doll that is, but it's probably really cute. Let's see. The dolls are so cute, especially the clothes and the shoes you put them in. Thank you, King Ja, since 05. Minnie G said, doesn't the Looks Wave one curvy girl kind of have that skin tone? No, she doesn't, unfortunately. I wish she did. Ew. They're so similar in color, but no, she's a little darker. She's actually a lot darker than that doll and way more like red, like a red undertone. Jennifer Louise, yeah, alive. Yes, I am alive. Nah, I know you mean like live stream. Tevin said it's tax-free weekend here, so we bought some clothes. Okay, that's what's up. Target has many dolls on clearance. Y'all, you in your area, I swear, you be finding like the most everything be on clearance where you're at. Especially Barbie stuff like Barbie Extra. There are many Barbie play sets. I'm still trying to figure out how to get my hands on one of those pool play sets from the what doll line is that from? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Rainbow High. Their sets are real nice looking. Everything is real nice looking with the Rainbow High brand, like their clothes, their everything, like the quality of that stuff. Hi, is so much better than Barbie's, but they're so expensive. I refuse. I'm not paying the full price for them damn play sets, man. It ain't happening. Have you seen this year's Barbie convention dolls? What do you think about them? They seem polarizing. You either love or hate them. That's what Project Fashion is wondering, and that's a good question. I did see them. You're talking about the ones that look like the flapper girls from back in the day. And they have a black version and a white version, I believe. So my opinion of them, honestly speaking, from my collection, they would not fit into my collection whatsoever. I would have no use for those dolls if I did not repaint their faces. And as far as the sculpts are concerned, personally, I don't see a sculpt there that I need to add to my collection or want in my collection. Further, I guess not that version. I do have the female one. I mean the female one. The white one. What sculpt is she? I want to say she's a mermaid sculpt, if I'm not confused. Correct me somebody if I'm not right. Mermaid Louboutin, one of those sculpts I feel like she has, which I already have in my collection. And what's the regular price for those dolls? Because I have no idea what the price is too. That's a factor too in what I think of certain dolls. Because if the price doesn't match what they look like they're worth, I'd be like, eh. Like, for example, the Barbie style dolls. They retail at $100, and ridiculously, they're still $100 each now, if you're trying to find them someplace. And I would have thought by now, the first wave at least would be lowered in price, but I don't be seeing them any lower than $100 anywhere. I would never spend $100 on those dolls. None of them. I haven't seen any of those dolls that I would think is worth $100. And for me, that's because the head sculpt is a huge factor in why I'm buying the doll. You know what I'm saying? So if your face sculpt isn't warranting me dishing out just tons of money for it, I don't understand why anybody would do that. Like, they're all plain line head sculpts. Nothing about those dolls' faces are special. So to me, it just doesn't make sense. They look really plain too. They're not dolls with like immaculate face sculpts that it's hard for you to find another doll that looks. I could like make my own Barbie style doll with similar fashions and the exact same sculpts in similar skin tones and just make my own versions of them and be totally satisfied. There's nothing about those dolls that to me is worth $100. Do I think they're nice dolls? Would I add them to my collection? Absolutely, but not for $100. Not for $100. Maybe for like $50, but not for $100. And I only say $50 because I still don't think them dolls are worth $50. If it was just the doll, I wouldn't spend $50 on those dolls. But new in the box with all the stuff that comes with it, I think that's worth $50. So just the dolls themselves, I think are like $25 dolls. If I'm just keeping it real, maybe even less than that, because look, you can get these Barbie looks dolls that are immaculate with nice fashions. They don't come with a bunch of clothes, but just as is, they're worth $20 or $25. You know what I'm saying? And people have no problem spending that money on them. They have the joints that you want, you know, the face sculpts that you like. They're new sculpts that you're not going to see on other dolls. For not the past dolls we've seen so far, they're brand new sculpts. So for that, I think it's worth it, you know? And the same with like these dolls. I would never spend $400 on no dolls, but in this instance, they're rare. They're very rare head sculpts to find, especially the boy. If you want to get a doll with this head sculpt, that's a male doll with that sculpt, now you got to spend at least $100, if not more, for that sculpt in a different skin tone. So, you know, it's not easy to get your hands on. So that's part of the reason why I can justify spending that kind of money on these dolls. But even these dolls, I don't think they're worth $350. It's just where else can I get them? You can't get these convention dolls anywhere else. So I see why the people will sell them for such high prices once they have them. You know what I'm saying? So it just really depends. But like, bro, like retail though, these prices need to make sense. So it's hard for me to say about the new convention dolls whether or not they're worth it, depending on the price, depending on the clothes they're coming with, the head sculpts that they have, the articulation of the body. Do they have joints? What type of body do they have? You know, how much of what I'm spending my money on am I going to actually like keep and then use, and it's going to become a part of my collection actively? That's what I'm looking at, you know? So I think a lot of us forget that like It's such a thing called customizing. The simplest and smallest of changes to your doll can make her look totally brand new, totally different than how she came. I see sometimes when I look at different feeds that people have here on online and on Instagram, and I see the work that they put into their Barbies, like just changing the eyebrows, just adding baby hair, just changing the lipstick color will make the doll look totally different. And I'll be like, what doll is that? And then they tell me, oh, it's just this doll. Oh, it's this fashionista. I'll be like, what? Damn, she look blazing hot. Like, how did you do that? They just added some little tweak to the doll that doesn't cost that much to do. Sometimes it's free. And the doll will look brand new. So, you know, I don't hate them. I know some people love them and some people hate them. I don't hate those dolls. I think they're decent dolls. I think they're cool looking, but I don't like them better than stuff I've seen before in the convention series. Another set of dolls that I liked that were convention dolls were, what's the name of those darn dolls? Diane, you been working out?
No,
Why you look like you're losing weight?
because I lost my bad boyfriend.
You horrible. Because you're just not stressed. You look good. Yeah, what is those dolls called, you guys? I think they were Carlisle Nuera dolls. I don't know, it's just a coincidence. I always end up loving Carlisle's designs. Not all the time, but most of the stuff that he makes I like. It was a black and a white version. They had one had the Selma sculpt. The black girl had the Selma sculpt, and they had side glancing eyes, and then the white one, she had like red hair with a mole on her face. And what face did she have? She had dear Lord, I can't remember the name of her sculpt, but you know what I'm talking about. I loved those dolls. I thought those were freaking fly. I would totally want to add those dolls to my collection, but I don't think I saw them at a price that I was willing to pay for them. They're not on a grail list for me, and I already have a Selma sculpt, but that's what I'm saying. Like, a Selma sculpt is hard to come across on a playline level. So when you see one at a decent price, you better scoop that thing up. You know what I'm saying? And the Selma that I have is from the Harlem Theater collection. I happened to find her at like a discount store, and she was only, I want to say, $40, where those dolls retail at $80. So I had to get her. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. The Rainbow High car is $15, and Rainbow High house is $100 on Amazon. This is Tevin filling me in. The pool is $31 on Amazon. Okay, wait, 31? How close is that to the regular price? Isn't it like $60 for the pool? If it's $31 on Amazon, I might have to get that. I'm waiting to get the call to pay shipping for the American Girl benefit sale. I ordered American Girl doll and hair caddy. I later ordered another one. I will get the other stuff later. But they never stock enough Barbie Looks bodies. I'm still missing the other 3 females from Wave 1. I believe they don't stock enough Barbie Looks on purpose. The only Selma Sculpt doll I own is the AA Puma doll. I loved that one too, but I totally missed out on that doll, y'all. And I was like stalking the internet trying to see if I could find that doll. And the other one too. I like the white one too with the mermaid sculpts. I wanted both of them, but I just didn't catch them in time, and now the prices are so ridiculous. Like, I wouldn't spend it on those dolls because, like I said, I already have those sculpts in my collection, and I appreciate the rarity of those sculpts. So if I never have another one, I'm not gonna be like dying about it. But I would have loved to add them when I saw them. The 2018 convention dolls, yeah, I think those are the ones. I don't remember what they were called. On the Avenue Barbie. Okay, yeah, I think that's the one. Oh, Daria, that's right. Daria, she's one of the grail sculpts in my list as well. I really want one of those sculpts. So I loved those versions of those dolls, and I would have loved to have those dolls, but I missed them. Let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss something here while I was scrolling. Yeah, so that's basically how I judge whether or not, you know, I think a doll is worth having or not. But it's, again, that's just my own opinion, because my collection doesn't look like other people's collections. It's, you know what's so interesting too, and I was thinking about this. I feel like, you know why I love collecting dolls? Because it's never going to be the same for any two collectors. You're never going to run into two collectors who have all exactly the same dolls in the same quantity and are displaying them or like you know, enjoying the dolls in the same way. You're just not. Every collection is a reflection of the collector. And it's amazing how different the collections are, even though you have the same dolls. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, this one, I'm rebodying her. So I've already customized her. And other people have this doll, but they may not choose to rebody them. They might keep her on her original body, or maybe they'll put her on a different body, maybe a fashionista's body. Whatever their preference is, that's what they're going to do with their doll. So when I see their version of this doll and my version of the doll, it's very interesting to see how we interpreted how to beautify the doll in a way that appealed to us as collectors. And to me, that's just really cool that you can do that with dolls. They're so versatile that there's no right or wrong way to collect Barbies. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying the word Barbies loosely because I really am applying this to all dolls. Some people love, you know, Rainbow High and the OMG dolls and the old school type dolls like they used to have, like the Ever After High dolls and Monster High dolls, things like that. Brats, like freaking, I used to love Mycene Barbies when I was a teenager. They were like, ugh, I love them way more than Barbies. I didn't even mess with Barbies for a while because I was so addicted to the Mycene dolls. And I had them like displayed all over my room. I had a whole shelf that was like my little Barbie doll apartment. And each part of the shelf was like a room, and it was so much fun just messing around with those dolls. They reminded me of like different people that I knew. This is what her original body is looking like, and I don't know if this helps so you can see the difference in the skin tones. They are so similar, you guys. So hard to tell that there's a difference, but honestly, in person, this one is just a slight shade darker and shinier. This body is very matte, and so is her face. It's got a very matte kind of a finish, whereas this body has got some shine to it. So that's the discrepancy in the skin tone here. But again, once she's dressed and posed, it's just gonna blend. You're not gonna really be able to tell the difference, so I can work with it. And thank goodness, because I would have been really upset if I spent so much money on these dolls and there was no way to articulate them, because I'm just an articulator. I'm just that kind of collector, and for me, my top tier dolls have to have joints, even if they don't have made to move joints like she doesn't. But I'm not fretting it whether or not she has made to move joints or not. Only like my favorite dolls that I love to like mess around with the most are the ones that I just gotta have on a made to move body. But you know, some of my dolls don't have made to move bodies, like my Integrity Toys dolls. I have a Poppy Parker that I gave a made to move body to. I didn't like her original body. It was way too weak. Weak is the word that I like to use for it, because it just seemed kind of flimsy, but and weightless. I didn't really like the way it felt. So I gave her a made to move, because made to move body, that's one thing about these bodies. If you're not familiar with them, they're very solid. Like, they feel heavy compared to just a regular, like a hollow bodied doll. She can get into her bra, so that's good. It's not really a bra. It's supposed to be like a little tube top, but I'm calling it a bra. But I don't know if she can get into her jacket, because I don't know if the width of her shoulders is bigger here. Maybe it is. Let's see. Let's find out. Okay, so far so good. Can you lower your... Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Okay, well, she can get into the top part of her outfit, so that's what's up. Well, I guess we might as well just keep going. Let's see. Let us find out again. Come on. Oh, boy. Here we go. The thighs. Oh, Lord. I don't know. There's no stretch to these darn pants, y'all, so... it's a struggle. Yeah, nah. She can't close it. Look in the back. Almost, but not quite. Aw, but from the front, she can get away with it. Let's see if she can get into these shoes, too. Will they stay? Oh, they're going to stay. Good. Sometimes the shoes might be a little wobbly or weird when you put it onto the doll, and the feet isn't the original cut that the first foot mold was. But is it going to stay? Stay put. Well, let's hope so. Okay, so she can get into the outfit in a very superficial manner. And, oh, there goes the shoe. I tried. Let's see. Now I gotta bend over. Ugh. Ugh. I thought I was gonna knock everything off the table. Good thing I didn't, right? Not this time. Maybe next time. Let's see. Although if I did, y'all wouldn't be surprised. Be like, here she go. The clumsiest doll tuber on the planet. Lord. Anyways, this stand is not the right kind of stand for her. So that's why she's kind of wobbly. But she can get away with it. She can totally get away with it as far as just to be on display. Yeah, with the joints and the outfit, she can get away with it. But I don't like her on this stand because it's very unstable. So I'm going to move her off of there. And who can I steal a stand from? Can I steal yours for a second? Please. I said please, so now you have to do it. Thank you. Okay. Please is the magic word. That's what I heard. If you say please, people just have to do whatever you ask them to do. So that's the ideals that I live by. Can I have $1 million, please? Right? Wouldn't that be awesome if the world works that way? Oh my goodness. What? Can I have a gourmet dinner, please? Ding! Here you go. Thank you. I love her hair, you guys. Her hair is just, so much fun. Her hair reminds me of the Barbie BMR 1959 doll with the and Billy Sculpt with the long brown braids. That doll, she has one of my favorite hairstyles of all the dolls in my collection. There's a couple of dolls that I love just for their hairstyle, just the hair. I just love their hair, and she's one of them. And this one is kind of the same in that every doll with braids is not the same, you guys, because some dolls, their braids they have no weight to the braids, so they just they won't lay, they won't just stay flat. It's like a struggle trying to get the braids to behave themselves and just sit in the way that you want them to be sitting on the doll's head, because of the fibers that they use for the braids. It just depends on what it is. So some dolls, they'll have braids, but like the hair will be like floating, like it won't just lay flat on the doll. And she has weight in this hair, that whatever fiber they use for this, there's weight to it. So like it'll just stay put, it swings, it moves. But like some dolls with braids, it's not like that. It just really depends on the kind of fiber they use. So this is why that particular, the BMR doll, I love that that hair texture on her. And also, if you look closely, this doll, she has twists in her hair, and the twists now towards the bottom, it almost looks a lot like they're unraveled at the bottom. I don't know if this is a mistake. I don't know if it's supposed to be like this or they just unraveled over time. Because while she was in the box, I was kind of playing with the hair and like touching it, you know. So I don't know if messing around with it made some of the ends unravel. But what I like about it is, even if the braids unravel, they're rooted, so they're not going to come out of her head. And you see the texture, it's like tiny little curls, like the twists that are coming undone. They're little curls, right? Little spirals. And the texture itself is so unique and cool looking that like I don't care if all of them unravel. Even if they all unraveled, it wouldn't matter. And in real life, when women get their hair braided like this in these little tiny micro braids and twists, a lot of times they will leave the ends unraveled on purpose just to give the hair more texture and like, you know, have the look be a little more messy. So it's not unusual to see hairstyles like this even in real life. A lot of my cousins that would like box braid their hair, that's what they would do. They would leave the ends loose, so the hair would be two different textures. On top it would be braided or twisted, and then as you get to the bottom it would start to unravel. So to me, it's a very natural way that you would have hair like that. You don't have to like sit here and like retwist all of this obsessively because it's not looking right, if that makes sense. No, like you can do this and twist it back up, but I wouldn't do that. I like the way that it looks like this. It's more realistic looking, I guess. So I like that. I don't know if that's on purpose because there are a lot of unraveled pieces on the bottom. I don't know if it was supposed to be like that or that's an accident, but it's a happy accident if it is one. I think it's brilliant. So I really like that. Yeah, so what do you guys think of these dolls? I mean, obviously, Obviously, for the price point, I'm not suggesting anybody go running off looking for these dolls to buy unless you really are just in love with them and you got to have them. But they definitely are some all-stars for sure. If you do have them, it's gonna really make your collection feel alive and just interesting, you know. I also want to see how he looks with this pink jacket on top of his black clothes. Let's see. I wonder if it's gonna take away from his look, because he looks so different with the black. And black and pink is a cool color combination sometimes. The quality of these clothes is very nice. They have like a lining on the inside, so the quality is definitely there. I like that. And it better be, I mean, goodness, for it to be like some rare doll that's high end and they can warrant people spending hundreds of dollars on them. Y'all better put some work into them clothes, that's for sure. But I like that they were plain colors for this very reason, because I knew I was gonna want to like mix match it. So here's how he looks with the jacket over his outfit. Let's see, just overall, what do you guys think? It's not bad. This jacket doesn't close, so you kind of have to like keep it like this, I guess, and then the belt kind of held it together here. So I don't know if I would have him stay like this with this outfit. I don't know if it quite looks right with what he's got going on. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure if that's true, but that's just what I think. But this is actually a really big jacket, you guys. It's not as fitted as I would probably want for it to be, but I don't mind it. It's really big. I think it's big. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not really big. What's going on here? Is these supposed to be like... Oh, there's like some kind of padding in there. Okay. Okay, excuse me. Squeeze me. See, I told you I don't really know about fashion like that, y'all. I'm sure it all has its significance, but I don't know nothing about that there. Okay. Yeah. He's fun. Oh, I love him with this body. Yeah, I definitely would have been disappointed if these guys had to stay stiff the whole time I had them. I'm so happy that they have this freaking body, yo. Seriously, I would have felt very, like, not confident about spending this money on this doll if I was not sure if he could be articulated. Because I just get so tired of seeing my Ken dolls stiff, especially my black Ken dolls. I have a couple of Ken dolls that I never even take out of my drawer because I don't have a way to pose them with joints, so it just makes me not want to even do anything with them because I know it's gonna bother me. But I love the dolls, I love their sculpts, I want to do something with them, but I can't because I don't have the right bodies for them yet. So they're just hanging out in the drawers until they can be freed. But thankfully I don't have to worry about that with this guy, and I can enjoy him out of the box, so I'm really grateful for that. And the same with the girl. Just overall, the two of them, I'm like so happy that I have these dolls in my collection because they really are doing for me what I thought they were going to do, and that's what's up. So now that I've rebodied them, what I end up doing is I will label the doll on the back of their legs or some part of their body with a name tag so that I don't lose track of the names. And for example, let me just show you an example of what I mean by that. See here, I put a tag here, and then you can't really see it that good here, but it says Anais Raja, which is her name, and then her sister has one on the back of her leg as well. It says eBay Raja, and then this one here, I just wrapped it around, but this one says Esperanza, that's her name. So like, that's what I'll do. I'll just label the doll directly in on the body part someplace where it's like not too conspicuous. This one says Nano Sarah, that's her name. So that way, when I'm doing stuff with my dolls, when I'm doing videos, when I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, characters that I'm trying to do stuff with, I won't confuse myself because I have so many dolls at this stage. I can't remember all of their names by heart off the top of my head unless I always handle that doll, unless she's like a real special doll that there's no way I'm gonna forget the doll, you know. But some of my little minor characters, I'll forget their names over time if I don't handle them. So that makes it easier for me to just remember which dolls I'm working with, and that's what I do. So that's a little idea that I'm just sharing with you guys for how you can keep track of your doll names. I also have a book where I inventory all of my dolls. I started inventorying them when I was trying to make my head sculpt study series. It took me a while to figure out all the dolls I had that were part of my main tier collection, but once I did that, it made it so much easier to keep track of my dolls after that. So I highly suggest, if you are patient enough, to do so before your really, I mean, ideally before your collection gets unmanageably large. I would suggest, even when you only have 10 dolls, start inventorying your dolls if you're planning to collect for a long time, because over time you're just going to get so overwhelmed that you'll lose track of the dolls that you have. And this just makes it so much easier for me to keep track of my dolls, to reference different dolls when I'm talking about them with the audience. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And then when you guys ask me questions, like if you say, hey, that doll you had in the video, can you tell me what sculpt she is? When the video is over, I'm not looking all the way back 30 minutes into my video to figure out what doll you're talking about, because I'm on the go. I'm busy. I'm doing stuff. I'm not just sitting in front of my computer all day. But if you're like, hey, can you tell me where you bought eBay? Hey, can you tell me if the skin tone for this doll matches that doll? I see that you put, Esperanza on a different body. What body did you use? Automatically, I'm going to know exactly which doll you're talking about. You feel me? So that's why I try to keep track of the names of my dolls so I don't get mixed up. Would those pants fit a petite body? That's a good question, and I hope the answer is yes. I don't know. I'm going to have to try it out to see, but the petite dolls, they don't necessarily have smaller waists. The waists are very similar to the same sizes normally Barbies have. It's just that their frame is shorter, so it gives the illusion that their waist is a lot smaller. But from my experience so far, the waist is like, it's not that much of a difference. It's not as skinny as this one. The petite bodies, nah, they're not as skinny as that one. So let's see, my loud ass neighbors coming down the stairs. I am a new doll collector and I need to inventory my dolls. Who's this? Is it an L or an I in the beginning? Is it LD or ID? I'm not sure. Okay, so yeah, that's my suggestion. If you are a new collector and you're LD, okay, and your collection is still kind of small, I consider it a small collection if you have 50 dolls or less. If you have 50 active dolls in your collection, because a lot of us, we have like 100 dolls, but we don't even think of all of those dolls as an active part of our collection because we won't display them or play with them or do anything with them because there's something about the doll that we need to spruce, change, fix. It's still a work in progress. You're not really sure if you want to keep it or sell it. You just bought it for the clothes, but you don't really like the doll. There are reject parts that you just got on stash for possible head or body donors. All sorts of reasons why we might have a bunch of extra dolls in our collection that we don't do anything with, right? So I don't even count those dolls as part of a collection. I just count those as like just parts. Those are just spare parts, right? The active part of your collection that you put on display, that you photograph, that you come up with stories for, that you name, that you will show to other people, that you post online, that you make videos with. Those are the ones that I consider like part of your doll collection that's active. So those dolls, that's what I'm talking about. If you have 50 of those dolls or less, then it could be considered a small collection. And while it's still small, it's a great time for you to start your inventorying before you become overwhelmed. But even if you have thousands of dolls, if it takes you 2 months to inventory them, you're just going little by little by little, every week, every weekend, you're just adding a little bit more. Do it, because later you will be so much less overwhelmed, and it will help you to figure out what dolls you want to add to your collection. That's another thing. When I was doing my inventory, the way that I have my inventory set up, I'll show you guys my book. Actually, I'm gonna do that in another live because we don't have time today. But the way I do it is I inventory them by sculpt. So I'll say, like, I'll have a list of like all my dolls I have in Billy Sculpts, and then I'll name them. I'll put all their names, and then if I can remember which doll they were originally, I'll write that down next to the name so I'll know what version of the doll I have. But some of those dolls I don't know, like thrift store dolls like this, I know she's a diva sculpt, but I don't know exactly which original doll she was. Actually I do, but I found out about that later. But anyways, let's just say I didn't. Let's say I never found out what doll she originally was, because I do have some dolls like that were secondhand dolls. I'm not going to be able to put down what the actual doll is, but I can put a description of the doll, like she came with red hair and this and freckles and, you know, something like that. So I'll put some kind of descriptor there, but as long as I have a name and it matches the name on the back of the doll, then I'll know which doll it is. So that's why I label the doll itself, because the doll's label has to match what's inside of my book. There's a part in my book that says, you know, Simone head sculpt, you know what I'm saying? And then under Simone, I'll have number 1, eBay, number 2, Anais. And that way on the back of their legs, when I see that label is there, I'm matching it to the ones that are in my book, so I'll know what sculpt. That way, if I forget what sculpt she is, later I can go back to my book and look for her name, and then I'll see, oh, Anais was a Simone sculpt. You see what I'm saying? So in multiple ways, it's helping me to keep track of my dolls. And then I'll see, oh, I have 2 Simone sculpts already on display because they have names. I only name the dolls that I would display, or dolls that I consider part of my active collection. So if they have a name, then that means this is a doll that I'm like, it's a keeper doll. So I know I have 2 Simones that are actively part of my collection. Now when I go looking for new dolls to buy, if I see a Simone sculpt someplace, I know I only have 2 in my collection of like 200 dolls. So I'm not gonna be overwhelmed if I buy another Simone sculpt in a different skin tone. You see what I'm saying? But right now, currently, I have like I think I have like 10 skippers or like 10 Billies, so many. So when I see another doll like these Barbie style dolls that cost $100, I'm not gonna spend $100 on this goddess head sculpt, because I already have like 7 of them. Do you see what I'm saying? I've inventoried them so I can see at a glance how many I have. I don't gotta go looking through the stash of dolls I have. Well, let me see how many goddess face sculpts do I have. More than 5? Like, I don't have to waste my time doing that. So now when I'm presented with, do you want to buy this doll for $100? It's not my emotions jumping in front of me. Oh yeah, I want it because it's so pretty. No, I'm gonna think rationally, like, I already have 7 goddesses though. Do I need another one? Like, do I need this right now, or should I wait and add other sculpts that I don't have, like this Vera Wang doll with a very unique head sculpt, or this diva doll that's got this, you know, old school sculpt that's hard for you to get now in modern days, or even that doll back there who was originally Frida Kahlo, but she has the Nichelle face sculpt, and that doll sculpt is really hard to get your hands on as a playline version. You know what I'm saying? So I have 2 of those right now, but I wouldn't have known that if I didn't track the dolls that I have. Same with this is the Mari sculpt. I don't have any dolls with this head sculpt. This is not a new sculpt. It's an old school head sculpt, but it's a new version of it. So, you know, when I see that I don't have the sculpt in my inventory, then I'm not gonna feel like I'm wasting money. Even if I spend a little extra on this doll than I would, say, a playline doll, it's worth it, because I know I can't really get a Mari sculpt off of a fashionista doll like that, you know? So that's part of the reason why I feel like inventorying your dolls is really helpful if you're taking your collection seriously, because you can get very overwhelmed quickly with this population of doll people that you've got in your Dollyverse if you don't track what you're doing. Because guys, these are not free. You have to spend real actual human people money on them. Right? This is not a cheap hobby. You know what I'm saying? You got to spend some money on these dolls, even if you only spend $7 on it. Like, you need to know what you're spending your money on, or in my case, my husband's money on. So, you know, it helps. So if you are, you know, if you're looking for a way to keep track of your dolls, it might be something that you could benefit from, figuring out a way to inventory. I'm gonna show you guys the way that I do it, just so that people who are new to this, if you have just no idea where to start, you got some kind of a reference, and you can tweak my method to work for yourself. But what I want to incorporate into my method eventually is to actually make a spreadsheet on the computer where I can digitally track everything, and I think that will be a lot faster and easier. But I do like the way I did it so far, because my book is more handy than a computer right now for me. It's such a hassle, like, sitting at my computer, because your phone is your computer and it's mobile. So when you're used to that, sitting down at your computer and trying to pull everything up is like, You know what I'm saying? Loading screens. It's just, I don't want to do it. So that's kind of what has stopped me from doing it on the computer, because I have everything I need on my computer to actually do it if I want to. I just don't feel like it, so I haven't. But with my book, with the physical pages that I can just, just turn the page and keep writing and just paper and pen, it's more hands-on for me. So that's why it's better, because I just have my book laying at my bedside table. Sometimes I'll pull the book out. I have a section in my book where I have my grail list, and when I come across a doll, like I'm just browsing online or I'll be watching other people's video, I'm like, oh shoot, that's a cute ass doll. Like Steven in here, I was talking about the Vanna White doll. Now I gotta go look that doll up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm curious. But if I love it when I see it, that doll might end up being a doll that I have on my wish list. So I have a grail doll list and I have a wish list. So I'll just add those dolls to my wish list, because over time I might forget. Then I'll go back and look at the list to see what's been checked off. I also keep a list of names there, of different names I want to give to dolls that I don't even own yet. And then when I get a new doll, like this one, I'll be like, okay, well, what should I name you? If the name doesn't just pop out at me when I'm looking at the doll, I'll go into my book and look at my list of names to see if there's a name there that seems like it would be suitable for that doll, and then I'll give her the name. I'll cross it off the list. So my book, I'll use that for various different things, just to help me to organize and keep track and keep my thoughts straight. But it's a good way for you to kind of like visualize and see what you're doing, instead of just it's getting lost in the jumble of thoughts inside of your mind with all the everyday things you got going on top of that. You're not just thinking of dolls all day long. You got other things you got to be thinking about. So that's what I use my book for. Let me see if this looks better with this belt on. Yeah, so I'm going to show you guys my book and kind of walk you through what it is that I do, so you can have a visual of what I'm talking about. And then if any of that seems helpful, do it. Take it, steal it. You can take my ideas and make them your own, and as long as it's gonna help you out, that's what's up. That's my goal at the end of the day. Oh, you know what else I wanted to ask you guys? One last thing I wanted to talk about is body limb changing. Like, how do we do that? Is there a way for us to remove limbs on our made to move dolls and like jointed dolls and then swap them? I wonder. I've been like thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about it, but more extensively trying to research it since yesterday, and I can't find anything. I cannot find any information that's useful about modifying Barbie bodies. Why is that? I feel like when it comes to like action figures and BJDs, people are so just well versed and descriptive about how to modify their dolls and customize them in a more extreme way. But when it comes to Barbie dolls, is that just not part of the Barbie doll collecting culture? I don't know, but like it's not reflected online as much as I would have thought that it would be. So if any of you guys have links or even knowledge on body part swapping, not the whole body itself, everybody knows how to do a head swap. There's a bajillion videos online on how to do head swaps, but I'm talking about legs, arms, torsos, parts of the body, right? Is there a way to do that? And how? I don't know. I'm going to keep researching it, but if any of you guys are interested in that topic, I highly suggest that we kind of team up and do our own independent research, and then maybe come together at some point to try to like review what everyone has found out or has tried on their own, because I feel like this is one of those things where the most experimental of collectors are going to have information on this, because if you're just like scared to change something on your doll or modify anything on your dolls, you're not gonna ever know. It's the brave people that will take the risk of making mistakes, messing up bodies, that will pioneer the mainstream knowledge of how to do these things. Because when I first started doll tubing, you guys, it was so taboo to change the bodies and heads, and I don't know why it was, but it was. I remember constantly making videos, because I would review a lot of fashionistas dolls when I first started off, and they were all stiff-bodied dolls. And back then we didn't necessarily have made to move dolls yet, but we did have a standard articulation that you could use for those dolls. So when I would have extra bodies, I would be always changing the fashionistas onto jointed bodies. And because I was heavy duty filming at the time, you know, you guys would witness me doing that. And I would get so many comments of people just flipping out in the comment section about rebodying the doll. They would like literally be offended that I was changing the dolls onto onto bodies. And I'd be like, why? What? Well, why are you upset about that? It's your doll. It's just plastic. You can do whatever you want with them. So I would have to literally like stand up for myself and my right to change the body. Like, you see how ridiculous this is even as I'm talking about it? Because now in 2022, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Like, it's an expectation almost to give your doll joints even if you buy them without them. And people aren't even, it's not even a factor anymore if the doll is stiff-bodied when you get it, because there is the expectation that you're gonna do something about it if you don't like that, right? So what's up with this thing? I tried to come over here and I was like, really? It was like a barrier at the club.
I guess so.
I had never seen this thing wilt over like this, and it's so huge.
Like, oh, where you have to go under it. What is that?
I know, like what is it called? Limbo?
Limbo.
Yeah, I was like, what is this? It's ridiculous. I know, right? Should I cut it? I don't know. I don't want to mess with it, but it's so
I
annoying.
think it's whoever lives here a while ago.
They planted it or something? Yeah, because it grows and then it like goes away in the wintertime.
It's ugly.
I know. It's right out my window. Yeah, bye. One of my neighbors. All my neighbors are nice. Anyway. But yeah, I would have to really defend myself and be like, I can do what I want with my dolls. But nowadays it's not so much like that. It's very, very, like, very common for people to rebody their dolls. It can be done, but very carefully. Okay, there's Mini G is saying that you can swap body parts, but you have to do it very carefully. And I imagine that, of course, you would have to do it carefully. Like, for example, when I see this joint here, I know there's a peg on the inside, like how this has a peg. So if you pop it like this, it's gonna come out. Because even when I turn the doll's arm like this, I can see the peg starting to come out, you know? But I've never actually pulled one out completely because I don't want to, you know, mess it up. And I don't have no reason to just be popping it out like that. But sometimes I pull the wrist out to dress the dolls. Kind of like with Integrity toys, they're meant for you to pull the body parts apart. So I kind of do that with some of my Barbies if I'm having a hard time getting some clothes on them. But only specific dolls that I normally pop their limbs out with, because I don't want to loosen the limb too much and I don't want to break it by accident, because Barbie doll limbs are not made like that where it's just meant for you to be taking the body parts apart. So it's very like tightly, you know, in there. But if you heat this with water, with boiling water, it's gonna soften it up. So you could probably just remove it easily. What happened to this arm here? What the heck? Anyway, and I do see that some collectors, they will actually modify the size of their doll's body parts, like the waist. Sometimes they'll cinch them so that they're even smaller, because it's plastic. So when you heat it, you can mold it. You can like change the way that it's shaped. And I've seen people do that with the legs and stuff like that, and the feet. Like sometimes they'll have high heel feet and they'll make them flat, or they'll be flat feet and they'll make them high heeled by heating them and just with your hand just molding it into the shape that you want. And then when it dries, when it like cools off, then it will stay like that. So there's some experiments that I want to do where I'm going to be trying out that method of like molding the body parts to change them a little bit. But I want to know, like, even further than that, can I just pop her whole leg off somehow and put a different leg in there? Can I pop this entire arm off and put a different arm in there? I'm wondering about stuff like that, you know? Separating at shoulder and hip is easier than elbow and knees. Yeah, so even if it's not the knees and the elbows, you think that separating the shoulders is easier than the elbows and knees? I wonder about that, you know, especially the Made to Move dolls. This is my idea. It might be insane. My idea is to figure out a way to Frankenstein different body parts of Made to Move dolls, right? So if you had them in similar skin tones, for example, we were talking about this doll, and that she's the first Made to Move body in the skin tone, and she happens to be tall. But let's say they come out with a curvy body that's like this. I want to know, can I take her tall legs off and put the curvy legs on here in the same skin tone? Can I take these skinny arms off and then give her some thicker arms from the curvy body, but keep the same torso, right? Where the torso is not wider because she's not curvy, obviously, but just some parts of the doll. Could I do something like that? That's kind of where I'm trying to go. So like, I don't even know where to start with that. I have a Made to Move doll body with a missing foot that I just have had for like the longest. I was gonna use that doll as like a wheelchair doll at some point because she's missing a foot, but so far I haven't done anything with that body. So I'm thinking I want to take the whole body apart. I want to take the arms apart. I want to take the hips apart. I want to see if I can take this part of the arms off, and I don't need to take the joints here and here. The double joints can stay put on those bodies. That's no problem. But I'm going to try and see if I can take, like, see how this thing, like, do I even need to remove the leg here? Could I just remove it from here and then replace it with another Made to Move leg? Like a petite doll, for example. Could that leg fit here in this groove? I don't know. So, like, I want to take that body apart to see what the anatomy looks like, when how the skeleton is being put together, because the way my brain works is like a puzzle. Like this, I'm not even phased that this thing popped out of the doll's head because I actually figured out a way to fix this. So if I ever wanted to use this body for anything, which I probably won't because I don't use these bodies, but you know, if I wanted to like sell it or something, then obviously I'm not going to sell it without the peg. So I know how to fix it so that I can have it so that it can actually work again, either by using this piece or by using a different, like a bead to do it with. There's a way that you can fix that. And so at one point in time, this scared me. Like if this was a Made to Move body that I had done this to, I would have been like stressed out because, oh no, I need that body, right? But because I know how to fix it now, it doesn't bother me. But I only figured out how to do that by taking apart the body, to this part of the body, and looking at how they assembled this together, and then just finding substitutes that will function the same way. It's like a puzzle. So I'm trying to figure out, like, is that something that I can do? You understand what I'm saying? You all right? Are you all right? Poor Genu. He always gets stressed out about his bike. His dad bought him that bike brand new because 2 other bikes that he had that he was trying to just kind of like fix up as he went along was just malfunctioning on him. So it was just like stressing him out, and he was going to take it to a repair shop to get it fixed. But at the time, Adonis was like working, so he's like, I'm not about to stop my whole work day to go take you out of town to go fix this bike when I could just buy you another one and you don't have to worry about it. So he just bought him another one, and then now he's got a nail in the wheel, so it popped his tire. So he's like trying to figure out how to fix it, and he's all stressed out, but it's all good. You gotta let boys figure things out for themselves sometimes. You see me sitting here going, okay, do you? All right, that's how you want to do it? Okay. Because some things, yes, you want to guide your kids on, but especially when it comes to boys, y'all, the world is cruel to men, okay? It is what it is. Everybody who will be like, oh, the men run the world, they're oppressing us. I hate when people talk like that. As women, we're so privileged to be women. Like, we can ask for help. We can go to people and be like, I need help with this, and no one's gonna judge you because you ask for help. We're seen as meek and needing to be saved, and we use that to our advantage all the time as women. But it's not like that for men. They can't just be like, I need help. You know what I'm saying? Not without being judged, not without people giving them a whole freaking speech about how somehow you're not man enough because you need help, you know? And one day my son is going to have to deal with that when he's an adult. So even though I want to jump in and save him, of course, if he needs me to, I will. But I don't know for sure that he needs me to until he's had time to solve his problem on his own. So if he can't solve, and that's why his dad ended up buying him the bike, because he's like, he's already tried to fix this bike multiple times. He's already spent his allowance money looking for all these different parts so he can figure out how to fix the bike. He's already got a whole second bike that was like a secondhand bike that he fixed up so he could ride it around, because his initial bike was messed up. So he had 2 bikes that he was working with that was all jacked up. And then that day when he was looking at him with the bike trying to say, well, yeah, we could just go take it to a repair shop, that day, like, my son had done research to find the repair shop, called them, told them what the problem was, and he did his best, and we would have taken him, but my husband just didn't want to be slowing down his workflow to do that at the time, and my son needed the bike ready to go. So eventually he just bought him the bike, but only because he had put in the work first to try to solve the problem. You see what I'm saying? So as an adult, you know, male, he's gonna run into that, and of course, as long as I'm around, he's gonna have a support system. I'm gonna do my best to help him, but initially you gotta let your sons figure it out, because if they do figure it out, now they've gained a skill. Now they've figured out a way to solve this problem. So if they run into that problem again, he'll be fine. But if he doesn't figure it out, he'll at least have tried. Him striving to do it will make it a lot easier for him to find, you know, people that can give him solutions, because that's what people are going to expect when you're a man. Did you try to fix this problem, or you just want a handout? You know what I'm saying? It ain't like that for men. Men don't just go to welfare and get food stamps and everything's fine the next day. It's not like that. It's a lot of scrutiny they have to go through to even get even government help that's really there for everyone. It's not gender based. It's not supposed to be, but I work in social services. It's not like that. You know what I'm saying? So to prepare him for the real world, I gotta let him do his thing and let him make his mistakes. He not gonna die. Let him try his best to. He gonna get frustrated, but let him do that and work through his issue. If he solves it, amen. Good for you. Good job. But if he doesn't, well, at least you tried. You know what I'm saying? So, and he'll appreciate whatever help somebody is given to him instead of feeling entitled to the help, because this is the problem these days. We live in this weird millennial generation where we don't know how to be adults. We don't know how to be adults. The term adulting, this generation made that term up. We don't know how to fend for ourselves as independent beings. And that's because we're so spoiled by virtual reality. Our parents just coming in to do everything for us. A lot of us are raised by single moms, single mothers who are afraid and guilty when it comes to disciplining their kids and like trying to make their kids work for things. I know a lot of single moms who just out of guilt because their dads aren't around will just splurge on their kids and spoil them with things they don't even, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, they didn't earn it. They didn't do anything to earn whatever rewards they're getting from their parents. And then when they grow up, they become lazy, they become entitled, they don't have any stamina, they can't last at a job too long because my boss keeps telling me what to do. That's what bosses are supposed to do, but they can't be managed. And then they can't, they can't function as independent adults. So they keep running back home, sleeping on mom's couch because they don't know how to be adults. But it's mom's fault they don't know how to be adults. You can't blame the kid. The kid is waiting for you to give them guidance as the parents. If you're not guiding them, then they're going to be jacked up when they go out into the world. And these are the people that we run into out here on these streets and mate with and have more kids. It's just like a never-ending cycle. So I don't want to contribute to that. I want my kids to be independent and know how to solve their problems, know when to ask for help, because that's another thing with my son. Oh, you see, I keep saying, are you all right? You good? I'll ask him if he needs help, and a lot of times he'll turn down my help because he doesn't really know how to ask for help. So I have to teach him that too. Sometimes you got to figure it out on your own. But if you've exhausted all your options, you need to know, like, okay, now I'm just like stressing myself out when there's someone here that can just help me. Go ask them for help. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with that. So that balance, you can't just leave your kids on their own to figure that out when they're already adults. It's too late by then. You got to do that. You got to train them when they're still in their teen years for that. So when they run into that as adults, they know how to handle it, So that's where we're at with our kids right now. Mini G, it can be done, but very carefully. Separating of the shoulder and hip is easier than elbow and knees. The Made to Move elbows are double jointed, so wrong amount of force makes it hard to put it back. Okay, yeah, and I can respect that, and I don't want to mess with the double joints, not on the Made to Move bodies. Like something like this, you know, that's different. But even so, I don't really have a use for pulling these parts out here in the middle unless I just happen to see a set of calves that I'm like, oh, I gotta put that on this body. But it's usually the whole limb itself, you know? So that's really where I'm trying to focus on, the whole limb at the joints. Can I remove it and replace it, or am I just stuck with whatever's there? If it's anything more than heating the body part to remove it, I don't know how hands-on I'm comfortable getting. If I have to use like all sorts of tools to do it, like, you know, like power tools. But yeah, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. But if there's a way to just pop them on and off, or if it's to restring something, I don't mind that. I'm just trying to figure out how to do that. So once I figure out how to take apart that body that I was telling you guys about, the Made to Move body that I have, then I'll let you guys know what I came up with. And I don't know when I'll have time to do it, but that's my goal. I'm trying to figure that out. And then we'll see what kind of fun we can have with modifying body parts and Frankensteining them together. I hope that that's possible to do, so I can show you guys what I figured out, because there's no information out here. That's why I ended up coming up with my teeth extraction method. There was no anything like that anywhere. I couldn't find one thing online that showed me how to shut the mouth of the doll and get rid of them teeth. And I know there's a way, but like how? You know what I'm saying? So I had to just experiment and be brave and figure it out on my own. And I figured out how to do it easier than I thought I would, but also the most challenging part of that for me was the glue, the right kind of glue to keep the face together and stay like that so it wouldn't just come back apart. And that was the most challenging thing. And then I figured it out, and I've been using that method ever since. I shared it with you guys here. I don't know if some people have been able to use that and actually incorporate that into what they're doing as far as customizing, but I'll be seeing pictures of people on Instagram and TikTok and stuff where it's not common, but I do run into pictures of people posting pictures of dolls that I know for a fact had some teeth at one point and then it was removed. So I hope that people are getting use out of the video, but I know it's better to have that up there than to just not have the information out, because even if you don't end up using it, it's good to know that that reference is there in case you do ever want to use it. Or if a friend of yours is like, I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of these teeth. When I'm dead and gone, hopefully those videos will still be there, so that the next wave and generations of people who are doing doll collecting and modifying will have that as a reference, you know. And I encourage some of you guys, if you've tried it out and it works for you and you're okay with posting, post your own tutorials of how to do that method, because some of you guys are better at explaining things than I am, and some of you are better at videography than I am, so your version might be a little bit more concise, a little bit easier to follow. Even if it's the exact same method, just your presentation might be a little bit different, easier for people to understand and try, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, kudos to the people that do their best to try to give me credit for that method, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, take the Broken Dolly method and do what you want to do with it, and if you tweak it, share it with the other collectors, because that information is vital to a lot more people than we probably even realize. So Viola, hi, hello, I know you're in Germany, right? How are you doing? So yeah, we actually went over my 1 hour time limit that I gave to myself for this video, but that's okay. It's Saturday. I'm not really doing anything right now. Minnie, he said you don't need tools, you just need heat. Amen. Okay, so if I only need heat, then we're off to a good start. And this is why I had to ask you guys, because I know somebody out here knows more than I do about this stuff, even though if it's not posted anywhere, somebody has tried it. So this is not like a crazy idea. I just thought of it myself and no one else has done it. I know people have done this. It's just I can't find the information online as to how they did it, you know. Maritza Ortiz, I have used your teeth method. Thanks for that. Hi, Maritza. And that's great. That's great that you've used it and it's working for you. Y'all, on some realness though, I've tried to use that method on one particular doll that I had to like fight with her face. I mean, fight her face, like fist fight her face. To do it, I almost gave up. I was so frustrated, but now I'm realizing it wasn't It wasn't me. It's the vinyl, because I didn't realize that Barbie has been making their vinyl for their newest waves of dolls a little bit stiffer than the older waves of dolls. It just didn't occur to me at the time when I was working with this doll's head. Her mouth did not want to stay closed for nothing. Like, it was a sculpt. It was, okay, let me tell you which doll it was. It was the Barbie Extra doll with the Alec head sculpt with the long pink braids. Oh my God. And because she has such a wide mouth, I thought it would actually be easier to close her mouth. But it wasn't. It was so difficult. Like, her face just would not stay closed. So I think I used like 4 different kinds of glues, because I thought, well, maybe this glue that I normally use is just not working on this vinyl. None of it worked. I was like, oh no, no. I'm about to fight her. You feel me? You okay?
Yeah.
Any progress?
I think it worked.
Okay, just be careful, okay? Genu. Genu? I don't know where he went. He says he thinks it worked. Minnie G said, be careful on guys because the torso plastic is thin. Oh, I didn't know that. Loud behind cars. Anyway, so yeah, so when I would like, so because you have to squeeze the face like this to make the lips stay closed, and then you have to hold it there for a while, and sometimes I'll hold it by the nose because holding it this way is a little harder, so I'll squeeze it from the nose and just keep it down, and you have to keep it closed for like a while, like 10 plus seconds. Usually that's all you need, like 20 seconds, and then you can let it go and it's fine. And when you squeeze it, you got to squeeze it like too much. You got to squeeze it almost to the point where you're like it doesn't even make sense, right? Because when you let go, it's gonna come apart a little bit. So you want to overly squeeze it so that way it sits right where you need it to sit. So I was doing that. I was putting so much muscle in, you guys. I was sweating. I was sweating when I was messing with that. Genu, come around here for a second. That tire doesn't look right to me. It doesn't look right to me. This tire looks... Oh, because you need air. But you closed the patch up?
I can't even find the hole anymore.
Then how do you know that it worked?
Because this sealant is supposed to be pumped into the tire.
Yeah.
And go around and fill up whatever hole is there.
It's not leaking out?
I can't even find where the hole is.
Did you put the sealant in there? What are you going to do? You're going to put air in there?
I did put air in there.
It needs more air than that. If it's not holding the air, that means it's not completely sealed. You need to put more sealant in. Because if you ride that off someplace...
I used almost all of this bottle. It's how much? 8 ounces, right?
Yeah.
These tires are supposed to take 4 ounces.
Mm-hmm.
And look.
Okay, I'm just saying better safe than sorry, because if it pops again while you're out someplace and you're far from the house, I don't know. Can't nobody come and get you. You hear me? And then, you know what I'm saying? See if you can put a little bit more air in just to be safe. How far away are you going? Huh?
Well, I just...
Listen, I'm getting a rental on Monday, so if there's time, I can take that to the shop for you and you can have them repair it if it needs to be repaired professionally. Okay? So, but in the meantime, make sure that, you know, it's as much as possible safe to ride, because I don't want you getting stranded someplace. It's coming out from somewhere. All right, let me see what's going on here. Viola said you have so wonderful dolls. Thank you, Minnie G. I found most of this out color matching skin tone. Oh, okay. Yeah, you gotta experiment. You know, you can't be afraid to experiment. It's just plastic at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? What you need, Genu? That thing is cool. Genu has this mount on his bike where he can like put his phone on it and ride around with his phone on the mount, and then he can be hands-free and still use his phone. That's pretty cool. What? They didn't have that when I was growing up. Why? I didn't even know that existed. real high tech up in here, y'all, these days. Goodness, they got something for everybody, for everything, right? If only they had mounts for dolls. We can just ride around in our cars with our dolls mounted in them. I actually made a mount for my dolls in my car, but I forget what I did. And I don't like to keep my dolls in the car overnight. I have to keep taking them out. So I don't know whatever happened to it, but I made one when I was living in Carolina. I remember doing it. Ay, ay, ay. Maybe you have to turn the wheel so that it's upside down, Ginu, because...
No, it told me put it up to the upper half. And then after you put it in, put air, and then spin the tire around so that it goes all over. And the hole was somewhere near here. But I can't find it.
Okay. Okay. Don't worry, it'll work out. Okay? Ay, ay, ay. My bad. I need to go radio silent on you guys. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, so that doll, the Alec doll, I had to really fight with her face, but eventually it did stay, and she turned out great, and I ended up repainting the lips a couple different times. I couldn't figure out which look I liked the best, so I did that, and then now she's the way that I want her to be. So it worked, but I was just like, just struggling. And then I did the same thing on another doll, which had this skin tone. You know, the original Rainbow Fashionistas doll with this skin tone. She has a June sculpt, and that sculpt has an open mouth. But the teeth, it's a very tiny little sliver of the vinyl that is where the teeth is, because it's a very slightly open lip. It's not... It's very, like, it's almost like it's not even separated at all. That's how it almost seems. But it's such a tiny little slit that trying to cut it open with the scissors was like with the razor was a challenge. It was so difficult trying to cut like a straight line, because you have to cut the teeth from the top, like right underneath the lip and right over the lip. So you have to cut it twice, right? And then pull that whole thing out when you're done. I was trying to do that, and it was so difficult. Once I had cut the slit for the one, like the top part, getting the slit cut for the bottom part was almost impossible, because it was so tiny. It was such a small space that I had to work with. And I think I had my magnifying glasses on, like the whole nine, you guys. And it took so long to get the sliver of teeth out that I needed to get out so that I could glue the mouth shut. Then finally, when I got to the gluing the mouth shut part, again, because the slit was so tiny, I could only fit like a little tiny little bit of glue in there, and then I'd have to hold it shut. And I think I had to do that a couple of times to get it just right. And when you're closing the mouth, the glue will seep out in between the two parts of the lips, you know what I'm saying? So you don't want the glue to dry like that, because then you're gonna have just like a bulge of glue right in the middle where the lips split apart. So you have to use either like toothpicks or something small to scrape away the excess glue. To scrape the excess glue away before it dries, so that you don't have that problem later, you know? So that was a challenge, but I did it, and her lips turned out exactly the way I wanted them to look, closed. So now she doesn't look goofy as hell, just smiling all up in your face. And she looks more serious, and I really love that. And she looks really good posed with these dolls. So that turned out good. So, you know, you're going to run into some challenges. You're going to tweak. You're going to have to kind of like come up with your own way to problem solve with some of these methods if you have an uncooperative sculpt that you're working with. But for the most part, just a standard open mouth doll like my Brooklyn doll, no problem. No problem. Cut her teeth out, glued it together shut, held it in place for the standard amount of time, 20 to 30 seconds, and I was done. And then I think I gave her, I repainted her lips. You don't even have to repaint the lips on some of these dolls, when you do that method, if you cut very accurately, and when you close the mouth and you make sure you scrape away any excess glue, a lot of times you don't even have to repaint the lips. So it just depends on what doll you're working with. Some of them I repaint them, and some of them I leave it the way that it is. But some dolls, I just don't like the paint that they came with. I don't like the lipstick color or like the way that the lips were painted. So I'll just end up repainting it anyway. But there's a lot of different ways you can do it, you know. It's very similar to limb extensions, add-on methods for YMY or DOD small ball jointed dolls, bodies for nendoroids. I don't know how to say that word. But put soapy water on the tire to check for a hole. That's what she said. You heard? Soapy water to see if you can find the hole. Oh, see, now that looks a lot better. That looks better. Yeah, that looks good. Let it sit for a second so this thing can dry on the inside. Don't just write it off right now.
I don't know if it has to dry. It just said to spin the tire around.
Yeah, so it can spread around so it can close the hole. Is that how it looks the first time when you try to do it?
Kind of, but...
But then but the air leaks back out?
It already leaked out.
Don't press it like that. Fill it up.
How you feel if it's... Alright.
You gotta let the thing dry on the inside. That's what I'm saying. It's still liquid on the inside.
I don't know if it...
So let it sit and let it dry. Give it a few minutes. You trying to fill it up and then just ride off on it? I don't think that's how that works, bro. You hear me? Let me see that thing. What does it say? It says... Oops, it says, what does it say? How you do this? Where's the damn instructions? Reinstall the valve, add air, spin the tire to distribute the sealant. Okay, and then what? And then what? It doesn't say how long you have to let it sit. I don't get it. Ugh, guy stuff. So confusing. Bleh, bleh, I don't know. How many minutes are you supposed to let the damn things sit? Like, see, this is what he's using to seal up the hole, but it doesn't say how long it takes for the sealant to seal. You know, and then he like put it in, he filled it up with air, and then he's just like pushing on the tire to see if the air will I wonder if you can use this on the outside too, if it works on the inside.
I don't know.
Watch out, because it looks like you're about to drop that bowl of water. You said it's near that thing, right?
Huh? No. I don't know.
Okay, just take your time and be patient. Okay? I mean, it looks different, but I think you should let this thing sit so that the liquid has a chance to solidify on the inside. You know? Don't just ride off on it right away. Yeah. Okay. Alright. After this, I'm going to take some pictures of these dolls redressed so you guys can get like a more detailed, closer look at them, and then I'll post them here. I'll post them on Instagram, and those of you who are following me on either sites, you guys will have access to those pictures so you can get a better look. But I think I'm gonna go because we've gone over like an hour longer than I expected to, and I don't mind staying here and talking with you guys, but also I have to think about my other viewers who are going to be wanting to see this box opening after we're done, and when the video goes up. And come on, seriously, like, they're not going to be clicking on a 4-hour video to see to see me rebody these dolls. So I'm gonna have to stop here, you guys. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me again and chilling with us over here. If you're not already subscribed, then absolutely I hope you'll subscribe so that you won't miss any videos. And for a little while I'm going to be doing the live streams, but you guys can watch them afterwards when they go up. And if you have a request, if you have something specific that you want me to do, if you have a specific question about a specific doll, leave it in the comment section, and I'll try my best to answer your question or to show you on camera a demonstration of whatever it is that you're asking about. I'll do my best. I'm not making any promises. I'm just saying I will do my best. And I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Gypsy. You're watching Broken Dolly TV. And what are we going to do today? We're going to have us a Dolly day. Okay? Bye, guys. And let's see. Press this button. And hit that button.